Good morning, we are filming live from the Devonshire Road Rock Gardens here in Blackpool, showcasing the superb work of the Civic Trust Blackpool and
the Rock Garden Friends.
The Rock Garden Friends. So we'll be shown around and to showcase the wonderful work that these charities do in making Blackpool better.
Yeah.
So we're just joined with Anne. Good morning, Anne.
Good morning.
And what work are you doing today?
Today there's a little area that's got flowers in it.
Yes.
That I planted, and there's a lot of weeds growing up in between, like with every garden.
Fantastic.
That happens. So I'm devoting my little bit of time at the moment to clearing all the weeds away.
Oh, let's have a look. Oh, look
Yeah.
at that.
It's looking
Yeah.
pretty,
Oh.
isn't it?
It is
It's really
beginning.
lovely.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. And you've been doing this for how many years?
Too many.
Too many.
No, I mean, I don't know, about 7, probably 6, 7 years.
6, 7 years.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's, and you come every weekend?
Every week we do come on a Wednesday, and of course over the years we've had events in here, so Christine and all of us have got together and arranged for, you know, different
Fantastic.
times. We did a Halloween one, the first one. It was brilliant.
Oh,
Was it scary?
fantastic.
Yeah, it was.
I've got to come down when it's Halloween.
Yeah,
That's
you'll have
fantastic.
to.
So,
yeah,
oh right.
Yeah.
So do you all dress up and
yes,
raise money?
yes, we do. Yes, yes.
Oh, I have
yes.
to come down as a vampire or something.
Yeah, oh, definitely. You'd be very welcome.
Just don't bring your
Yeah.
chainsaw.
So how do you
No.
feel this has benefited you, Anne, as a person?
Me
I
as a
take it you're now
person.
retired,
Yes, I am.
and so doing this kind of work
Yeah.
has benefited you.
Oh gosh, yes, yes. Because when I first came up here from the south, I didn't know the people, didn't know the area, didn't know anything, and my children kept coming to this place called the Rock Gardens, right? And eventually I thought, I'm going to go with them and see what all this
Yeah.
Rock Gardens is about. And as soon as I saw it, I just fell in love with it. Thought it was absolutely beautiful. And from the vista, you could look out and see Beacon Fell to the right and to the left. The trough, I think it is, yeah.
Oh.
And for me to benefit from it is, one, coming up here and enjoying the park and all what's happening here, because we've got things that are going on that we don't tell
Yes.
everyone because we're trying to
it's a
protect.
secret, yeah.
And yeah, for the exercise, meeting people, doing things involved
Keeping
with the
fit.
community.
I mean, you're looking great. You're looking really fit.
I'm
and
78 now,
No
so
way.
I am. I'm that
No
age.
way.
Well, get involved in voluntary work
No
and see what it
way.
does
You're
for
not
you.
78.
I'm 78, yeah.
Well, but
yeah.
it just goes to show, if you don't mind me saying,
Yeah.
by keeping active
Oh yes.
and getting out,
Oh yes.
keeps you young.
Oh, definitely.
Because
definitely.
you don't look 78.
Good. No,
Honestly.
I don't feel 78.
You don't look it.
No, good, good,
And
good.
all the people I've been speaking to,
Yeah.
they all look the same. They're all retired and
Yeah.
they're all doing
Yeah,
little
something
bits
they
of
love
work
doing. Yeah.
and keeping active.
So
and that's
this
what
is
it's all
getting fit and getting active.
Yeah.
Who needs
Yeah.
a gym membership? You don't need a gym membership, do you?
No, 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 not anymore.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So as long as it keeps going like this, which it will for a good many years,
Yes.
and we've just had a new recruit to the Rock Gardens today, so that's good as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
have to go down
somebody
and have a
new.
chat.
Yeah, Stuart.
Stuart
His name
Flubber.
is. Yeah, he's down there. I think in that blue shirt. I think. he is.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's great. Every credit to you, Anne.
Thank you.
And I hope to see you soon. Keep up the good work.
I will. I will.
I'll see
Don't
you
worry.
soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Okay, so we're right at the bottom of the Rock Gardens. We used to play football there, still do occasionally, and what we've got here are rocks, big rocks.
All covered up by the shrubs and
Exactly. Council have done a great deal of work here,
yeah.
trying to expose the rocks, and what the Friends are doing and what the Blackpool Civic Trust is doing is to build upon their work and expose some of the key rock features. We can't do it all, but we can at least make an impact.
How important is it? How important is it to have volunteers helping the various charities do work here, Paul?
I think it's actually essential, because we all know that people are willing to give up time to do something they think is worthwhile.
Yes.
And we know that the council, for perfectly understandable reasons, to do with finance, are badly stretched these days. And so where we can come in and do something distinctive,
Yes.
like expose the big rocks, then I think that's a good idea.
I've got to say, what a beautiful park. It's crying out, it really is crying out for some support, really. It's absolutely amazing looking round and seeing all the shrubs, and this hill is very high.
Yes.
How high is this hill, Paul?
The vista itself, which we're walking towards, that's 40 metres above sea level.
So I'm there, like
And you're a marathon runner.
And I'm a marathon runner as well, and oh my god. But this is fantastic. There's a waterfall around here somewhere, isn't there?
Yeah, there are two waterfalls. The smaller waterfall is down there.
Yes.
And then the larger waterfall, which is a proper waterfall, is where we have the big pond.
Oh, I'll go down there
But
and
they're
film it
all
later.
hidden from view at the moment.
Because of all the shrubs that we need to take down.
Well, we're not going to touch those big shrubs. The council did that within the last 2 years.
Yes.
But where the rocks are themselves, we'll expose them more. And so we'll dig out some of the easier shrubs.
Oh, that's nice, isn't it?
That don't attract butterflies and insects.
Yeah.
This is where it starts. So the water's switched on every morning by the Friends of the Rock Gardens, and it's turned off again at night.
Yes.
And so the water feature starts
down.
here.
It goes all the way down there.
Yeah, which is getting overgrown again. The council cut all that back, but as you can see, it's getting overgrown again.
That's a shame. That's a shame. So how long do you think this project will take, Paul?
Now here comes one of the leading lights.
Okay.
At the back.
And is it powered by
Electricity.
electricity?
On the grid, and the pump house is down at the bottom pump. So
Fantastic.
it pumps it up, what, 200 metres?
Wow.
It pumps it up a fair distance, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it does.
But this time of year, with all the weed down the bottom, the filter itself gets choked up, so it cuts off the flow.
Yes.
And so we just check it so that the pump doesn't run dry. So
Yeah, that's very important. So you come every day to turn the pump on?
one of us, no, it's on the timer, but one of us comes every day just to check it's flowing okay.
Wow, that's a dedication. That's brilliant.
Otherwise it could be an expensive job replacing the pump if it burns out.
How much would it be?
I've no idea.
Thousands.
It's Parks Department that install all that, I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
So,
That's amazing.
but it's not been running until last year for 10 years.
So there's been no flowing water for 10 years?
No.
Wow.
No, so the bottom pond is quite stagnant at the moment. So
Right.
it's covered in green weeds, so it's a case of we're trying to just freshen it up, aerate it, turn the water over, so eventually we'll get some clearer water.
It does show you what an impact 4 really active people in the Friends of the Rock Gardens can have. So 10 years ago, if you came here, it wasn't working. Now, because of these guys, it is working.
It is working.
And it makes this
well,
park.
that's working. They've cleared all the trees so that from up there you've got a view now of the hills, which was the intention of that building in the first place, was because it's called the Vista.
Yes.
You can see right across the Bowland Hills.
Yes.
There's still a few trees in the way, but the biggest majority they took down for us 2 winters ago, and hence all the shavings everywhere.
Yeah, we saw the shavings before.
But unfortunately they're covering the rockwork, which these guys are endeavouring to uncover.
On the chain gang.
On the chain gang, yeah, right.
And people can join the various charities to help, can't they?
They can. We've got the Facebook page. They can join us, friends of the Facebook, and just come and go as they want.
Yeah.
Or they can join us as members, because we asked the question, are you an active member? Do you want litter picking? Help with events or whatever? Now if somebody says no, that's fine, they can still be a friend of the Rock Gardens, but if they want to be active, then we meet on a fairly regular basis and they can come do a bit of pruning, a bit of weeding, and
I think that's wonderful.
Nothing major. I mean, we're not trying to put the parks out of business or anything, but it's nothing major. It's just something that the parks don't do because they haven't got the manpower or the resources to do it all the time. You know,
and it's also giving back to the community as well, isn't it?
Well, this is what we're trying to encourage. I mean, more families coming into the park. Surprising how many people within half a mile radius of it don't even know this part's here, because they just drive by, they just drive straight by.
I have a confession to make. This is the first time in 50 years I've ever...
Well, as you said,
I know, it's a shame.
As you said.
I've heard of the rock gardens, but I've never been in.
And people, when you say rock gardens, they think of the rock gardens up by the seafront.
Yes.
They don't think of it, and they drive by it, they don't even know it's here. But,
Beautiful.
Hopefully, more and more, we're getting the
So
work,
people
the
can just contact you via Facebook or...
Facebook page is best, yeah. We've got Facebook, they can message us on Facebook, yeah.
And the best thing is, you know, if people don't get out of the house very much, there's a good friends network as well, isn't there?
There is.
And people are very supportive, and you can help the community and do little bits.
I mean, obviously we've got all the dog walkers coming, and they help pick litter up and everything, and they're not actually, most of them are not actually official friends. They've not joined the friends or the members, but as they come in with the dogs in the morning, we've got quite a few say, well, we pick litter up as we're going around.
I've seen that, yeah.
And,
fantastic.
And this is Andy.
Andy. Hello, Andy.
Sorry.
Want to say a few words to the camera? You're busy.
Can I leave you?
Thank you.
I'll go and see to the pump.
You see what I mean?
Good morning, Andy.
You see what I mean about this being blocked here, Dave?
Yeah.
Andy's litter picking at the moment. Andy, what does the work here mean to you at the Rock Gardens here in Devonshire Road? What does it mean to you?
I like to see the place looking nice, and I like it when people come in and say how nice it is, and what a pleasure it is to come here and walk around and bring the kids.
Fantastic. That must give you a lot of satisfaction.
I get a lot of pleasure out of that, yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
When did you first start doing this kind of work?
Just after I retired, really. My wife was already involved, and then when I retired, I got more and more involved.
To be honest, I didn't know you. I mean, you don't look old enough to have retired.
Oh, what a smoothie! What a smoothie!
But it just goes to show that if you keep active and physical, you can reap the rewards.
This definitely keeps me active and physical.
And stay young.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
It's great. It's great that all the work that you guys do.
Yeah, and I've made quite a few friends along the way as well. You know, people that come in regular, and they come and have a chat with you.
Fantastic. So how frequently do you come, Andy?
Andy lives just round the corner, so I generally walk through at least once a day.
Once a day.
Then Wednesdays we usually sort of spend most of the day here. If we're having events on, it gets to be more and more.
And have you seen lots of changes since you started work?
Oh yes, yeah. It was very run. When we first started, it was very run down.
Yes.
And it had been let go. The pond, none of this was working.
I was speaking to Dave, and he said it's not been pumping water for 10 years.
No, it hadn't. And then the late end of winter last year, we managed to get everything up and running again.
Fantastic. So, every credit to you.
Yeah. So,
I won't keep you, Andy. You've got lots of work to do, but I'll be around filming today, so
okay, all right. Yeah.
I'll be seeing you soon.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy.
Cheers, Andy.
So that's wonderful, Paul. The work that these people do, all volunteers, and they're giving up the time.
So they're all rocks under this bamboo, if that's what it is. Yeah, they're dedicated. I remember the gardener, who has a huge area to cover.
Yes.
But when he was serving his apprenticeship, he was here, and they had a team of gardeners who worked here all the time.
Yes.
But he did say to me, if you'd come here 10 or 15 years ago, you would have been really quite shocked. He said there were really high brambles everywhere, and so the Friends have transformed this place with the council's help over the last well, I'm not sure how many years, so I'm not going to make a guess, but they certainly have been making a huge difference over a period of time.
So making my way down to the pumping station down here. This is something that the general public never see. Oh my God. How old is that pump?
I couldn't tell you. I think when did they replace the pump? About 8 years ago.
Before my time.
Yeah.
And this pumps all the water through the fountains and down the...
Well, in fact, we're just going to turn it back on now.
Oh.
Have you bled it, Dave?
Wow, so it's now working.
We'll set it up between the filter and the pond, so
right.
it doesn't disturb it too much. Let it settle and turn it back on again.
Fantastic. That's incredible. That's fantastic. Okay.
So here we are at the vista behind us, and this is where the Civic Trust volunteers have concentrated their efforts working with the Friends of the Rock Garden. So all of this you see here,
Yes.
around here, for example, all of these rocks were hidden under stuff like this and other big mature shrubs that had grown too big over the years. So all you would see before we started work with the Friends was just a glimpse of the rock. And so we got a surprise in many instances when we actually took out these very big shrubs, and we had to use a mattock and a special spade, and found how lovely and how big the rocks were.
They are massive, aren't
So
they?
we're very proud of this.
So
And obviously now the shrubberies are beginning to grow back, and the Friends are going to do some planting out
when was
to
this
make
first
it more
built,
attractive.
when was this first built? Or constructed even?
It was developed in the 1930s, and
Yes.
I believe it was opened around 1938, so not long
Fantastic.
before the Second World War. And so in terms of history, for Blackpool, it's quite old. If we think of Stanley Park, 1926, this was 10, 12 years behind it. And very different from Stanley Park. This is more to do with wildlife and so on. So they created a nature trail further over down that side. The former Friends group did a very, very good job, like the existing one, and they got a lot of lottery money, I believe. But one of the other friends still here, who has been in both groups, can tell you more about that, because I don't know the background as well as she does. And so this is one of the areas we're really pleased about, around here, that Christine referred to before, because until we started work you could see that there were rocks here, and you've got a reasonably good idea of how they look, but we have taken it so much further, so you can now see the actual rock formation. And this path here was did exist, but it was so overgrown only kids would have used it, and so we have cut back branches carefully, taken out some shrubs, taken away some big shrubs here that are completely overgrown the rocks, so you can now see the rockery.
Yes,
which is what it's about. And here, this was all covered up. You just saw glimpses of the rocks underneath.
So where did all these rocks come from, just to recap?
I have no idea. I know they were expensive. So in those days, Blackpool Corporation was so ambitious and so far-sighted, so they made a big investment here, big investment, which is why we're trying to uncover it. That's what the Civic Trust is about.
Yes.
Celebrating Blackpool's heritage, and this is part of Blackpool's heritage.
It's beautiful, I've got to say. Walking around the park, I can see glimpses of how it used to be.
Yes, yes.
And that's important for the work that's being carried out by all these wonderful volunteers.
Yeah. All of this was covered up. Again, you knew there were rocks there, but you didn't really have an idea of the overall shape of the rockery. Now you can see it. Obviously, going to have to do some planting, the Friends that is, not Civic Trust folk, to get a nice balance between the rocks and the shrubs and the flowers.
Some lovely flowers. Look at those hydrangeas, are they?
Those are hydrangeas.
They're hydrangeas, aren't they?
That's
I've not seen them for years.
Yeah, lovely ferns. So we kept those. So when we expose this,
Watch yourself on that little bush. There's that rose bush there.
we wherever possible, we try to keep the original shrubs, but prune them in such a way that you could see the underlying rock structure.
It's gorgeous.
That's a little rose.
I think this time next year it's going to look very pretty.
The heathers are pretty.
It's looking pretty now. It just needs a little bit more work doing, and this is where all the wonderful volunteers come into play, because without volunteers, I know the council do a wonderful job in what they do, but you know, like many councils, the resources are quite limited. So to get people helping and to hopefully bring it back to how it used to be is wonderful. So we're joined by Christine, one of the leading lights. Good morning, Christine.
Good morning.
And what are you doing today?
Well, today we're working down by the pond, but while we're in here for the day, I did think of fetching some plants from home to raise a few bob for the friends group coffers.
That's amazing. They're gorgeous plants. They're gorgeous plants.
They're very healthy, aren't they?
They are very healthy. They've been taken care of.
And they're very reasonably priced as well.
They are very reasonably priced, and every penny does make a big difference.
Well, it does make a big difference, because that's the point, is everything does go to the...
We've just had a look round, Christian, and looked at all the amazing work that's being done here. When did you first start working or volunteering?
I've been a volunteer with the Rock Gardens, I think, about 14 years.
14 years?
The very original group.
Wow.
And then we've been involved 8 years, quite active.
Yes.
And then I was going to say about the Civic Trust becoming involved with us over the last year, and been doing a fabulous project uncovering the rock work. And if you take a look round here, you will see where was once overgrown is now the rock work is exposed.
I've seen some of the work. It's been amazing.
Yeah, you know, and it is. I don't know if you saw the area that just down there, which if you go down those steps you will see that all those rocks have been exposed, and where they were totally overgrown, and with our little footpath going through as well.
I've got to say, it's a beautiful garden.
Yeah, it is.
It must be an absolute pleasure to be working.
Definitely. I'm quite passionate about the Rock Gardens, and in the sense of it's got happy memories.
Yes.
And of, you know, families.
What does it mean to you then to be doing this work, Christine?
Well, it means a lot.
Have you grown up around here?
My brother lived just round the corner, and when the kids were small, we used to come in here and picnics and, you know.
Oh, that's
like
amazing.
That.
That's a lovely story. I mean, we've looked around the park with Paul and Louise, and we've seen the park and all the wonderful waterfalls.
Yes. Well, that's been through hard work of Maya David and Andrew, another of the stalwart friends, and it's never worked for years, and they decided they wanted it working, and you know, credit to them, they've got it working. Great. And somebody has to come through every day at least once, well, to make sure it's still running. Because if it isn't, then it needs the filter cleaning out and something like that.
What message would you give to people thinking about joining you and doing this work? Have you got anything to say to people?
Well, I have. If anybody's got a few hours they can give, you know, once a week, once a month, whatever. We're not precious about, you know, time allocation. And if people could find some time to volunteer, you know, it's a really good friendly group.
Can I come in here?
Yeah.
Because I'd point out that some of the Civic Trust volunteers you'll meet later, actually travel up from South Shore. Yeah. They come from South Shore to help out here. So it's not just for people who live locally.
Oh, no.
And who benefit from the park.
Yes.
Other people, in this case in the Civic Trust, who've said to themselves, this is worth doing. And, you know, they may be travelling half an hour to get here.
That's wonderful. That's dedication.
Well, it is. And that's what I say. It's certain kinds of people that volunteer, and we just could do with more of them.
That's great. And as I was saying to Andy,
every group could do with more of them.
I couldn't believe that Andy had retired.
Yes.
And he looks amazing, and that's because he's continuing to be active and doing things.
Here. Yeah.
And that's wonderful, and he's doing a worthwhile job. All of you are doing a wonderful job.
Well, we don't want the praise, we just want the help. So.
Absolutely. So that's it. We don't want the praise, we want the help. So we'll go and do some of the filming in a moment. So.
Well, it's Blackpool's a little bit of utopia.
Yes.
Isn't it?
It's a hidden gem because you know, people pass by daily and all they see is that gate and the water tower. They don't think that there's anything beyond that. And when you see we've got 2 ponds and a waterfall,
beautiful.
There is not another park, even Stanley Park. Can't brag about that.
That's true.
Peaceful.
It is. It's very
cleansing.
Yeah.
Can I chip in here, because as a civic trust, Blackpool Civic Trust is extremely active, and other civic trusts around the country know that. And some friends of ours from Cockermouth, they're in the civic trust. They said, "What are you doing now?" And I explained we're working on this project here. And they said, when we were young, our families used to come to Blackpool for their summer holidays, and of course, being a B&B, you got turfed out after breakfast, don't come back until tea time. And this is one of the places they love to come.
Fantastic.
And that's when you realise that what we're doing as a civic trust, what the Friends of the Rock Gardens are doing, is so worthwhile, because you're actually restoring memories of the past.
We're joined by Carol from the Civic Trust, and you've been working for the Civic Trust for how long, Carol?
3-4 years, I can't remember, to be quite honest.
3 or 4 years.
Imperial, that was
We were on the Imperial.
15, was it?
Yeah,
14,
that was
15?
That was the first
14.
project we
Fantastic.
did.
That was
And the
almost 3
tram.
years.
And the tram, yeah, I need to go and see
I love
that.
the tram.
The tram.
Love the tram.
I've seen the tram going up and down Blackpool Promenade.
And now we're doing the rock garden.
The rock garden, and this is your little baby here. So this was all overgrown.
This was overgrown, and I exposed these 4 rocks in the front and the one at the back. And when you get from the angle on the other side, it looks like a little domed place. It's really,
Should we go and have a look?
pretty.
Yeah, let's have a look. Let's have a look.
Wander around the other side. All these had ivy on them. This was covered in ivy, and all behind was. And getting in there was a bit of a bramble experience.
Yeah.
But
You've done a fantastic job.
it's fun.
It looks fantastic.
And now I'm attempting this bit over here,
Ah,
where you can see my little black bag
Yeah, I
I've
can
been
see.
presented with. I now have my own little black bag. And I've cleaned some of these up here. Obviously it's been raining today, so, and getting in here, which is a bit of a nightmare. But
Oh, just be careful.
no, I'm used to this. But I found, just watch where you're walking, 'cause it's not very steady. These rocks here, and I'm trying to get, there's a load of brambles in there, so I've cleared that square there inside, but I didn't want to take the ivy off the log,
no.
because I thought that
It is very
made it look
pretty.
nice. So it's just, we've got to concentrate on the rocks. But I was told not to go in any further, because there's actually, the ducks have just landed there, so,
Oh, right.
so that's
So
quite
they're all
nice.
nesting there at the moment.
Yeah, so that's my little project. You can
See where the rocks, you were uncovering the
Yeah.
rocks bit by bit.
Yeah, they're getting there. And this
Wow.
one was covered over completely, so there's another one on the ground. You just don't know where they are. You know,
fine.
it's fine. It's usually how anybody can get excited about finding a rock amazes me, but it is so
I think
satisfying.
I've just discovered a little step at the bottom, and I was quite excited myself about that.
It's just so rewarding.
It's finding history.
Yeah, and
isn't
everyone comes past with their dogs and says, "Morning, how far have you got?" You know, which is it's great.
And it's it's wonderful that all the work that you
I
guys
have my
do.
Australian T-shirt.
Australian. But it's great that
friends-
all the work that you guys do every week, and it's a good way of meeting people as well.
Oh yeah, fantastic.
It's a good way of meeting people and making friends.
And you're
Making
never
friends.
bored, because there's something different all round the pot. It's going to take forever.
keeps
I just
you
feel
filled.
sorry for the council, because they've got like 2-3 guys to do every single park in Blackpool, which is ridiculous.
And this is keeping people healthy as
Yeah.
well, isn't it?
Oh, it's better
because
than
of the
the gym.
exercise. Yeah.
Definitely better than the gym. And you're out in the fresh air as well. It's
Excellent.
good.
Well, we can let you crack on now, but thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Christine, are there any plans to actually rebuild this part of the wall?
Well, yes, we hope to eventually, but it's getting the right stonework.
Yeah.
So we have asked if there's any found anywhere within the council areas, the yards where they put stuff, if they do come across boards. When the Civic Trust was digging out the area I told you about
Over there,
earlier, with the Friends group, and they discovered a whole row of York stone, which we will use for that purpose. There's some steps there, and one of the rows, at one time we got vandalism, and they broke the whole row of stones. So we've not been able to replace it because it's very expensive to get York stone. So we will use it for that as well.
Are there any places that actually had the York stone that you could get maybe write to actually ask whether they would kindly donate some of this to a charity of yourselves?
I don't know, because it is very expensive, and therefore in the days now all companies are a bit cash strapped, and you know, people give time, but unfortunately you can't really, you know.
So if there is anybody out there that will
definitely,
actually
somebody's got some in the back garden that they may have, so long as it is, you know, proper stone. Because unfortunate, we did try and do a repair over there, but when the piece went on, it didn't match, so we took it off again. It did.